The moon rose slowly over Amoka village, spreading a silver light across the clay roofs and quiet footpaths. At that hour, most children were already asleep, curled against their mothers on raffia mats, dreaming of stories told at sunset. But in a small house beside the old Udola tree, one girl remained awake. Her name was Amoka, a gentle child with soft eyes and a heart full of kindness. Amoka had lost her mother when she was very young. She could barely remember her face, only the warm hum of a lullaby and the scent of palm kernel oil her mother used on her hair. Her father, a hard-working palm wine tapper, loved his daughter dearly. But after many seasons of loneliness, he decided to remarry, hoping to bring warmth back into his home. That was how Mama Ifeoma entered their lives. In the beginning, Amoka prayed things would be peaceful. She tried everything to please her stepmother. She swept the compound each morning before the cock crowed. She warmed water for her father's bath. She even washed Mama Ifeoma's wrapper and blouses with her tiny hands, scrubbing until her fingers wrinkled. But nothing softened the woman's heart. Mama Ifeoma carried a shadow inside her, one built from bitterness, jealousy, and pain. She had no child of her own, and every time she saw Amoka's bright face, something stung her spirit like a scorpion. Instead of healing, she fed the anger. She told herself, "This child has taken the place that should have been mine." And from that moment, she began to hate the innocent girl. Amoka noticed the coldness, but she said nothing. Children in the village had been taught not to speak against elders. But sometimes, at night, she cried quietly into her pillow, letting the tears soak into the old cotton cloth her mother had left behind. She wondered why her stepmother hated her so much, but she never found an answer that made sense. Still, she tried to be good. She tried to smile. She tried to help. One evening, when the goats had stopped bleating and the smell of cooked yam still hung in the air, Amoka's father announced that he needed to travel. There was a festival in the next town, and he had been invited to tap wine for the ceremonies. He promised to return in 2 days. Amoka hugged him tightly before he left. "Papa, come back soon," she whispered. "I will, my daughter. Be strong, and obey your stepmother while I am away." Those words fell like a heavy stone into Amoka's heart, though she did not show it. She nodded and waved as her father walked down the familiar path with his tapping rope slung across his shoulder. She watched him disappear behind the palm trees, and she prayed silently for his safe return. The moment he was gone, Mama Ifeoma's face changed. Her fake smile melted away, revealing the hardness underneath. She looked at Amoka the way a hawk looks at a chick wandering too far from its mother. Days earlier, she had made a decision, one so dark that even the spirits of the forest would turn away if they heard it. She had secretly called some rough boys from a nearby settlement. These were boys known for trouble, boys who gambled, stole, and walked the village with long, careless strides. She promised them money if they helped her get rid of Amoka forever. "You will meet her on the path," she whispered urgently when she met them in secret. "Make sure no one sees you. Take her far. Sell her if you want. I don't care what happens to her, just make sure she never returns." The boys agreed. They were greedy, and the promise of money made their eyes shine like broken glass. And so, on the night Amoka's father traveled, Mama Ifeoma decided it was time. The moon had just risen when she stormed into the small kitchen where Amoka was washing plates. "You foolish girl," she barked. "Did you not see that the palm oil is finished? What will I use to cook tomorrow morning?" Amoka looked confused. She had checked the kitchen earlier. The clay pot of palm oil was half full. But Mama, we still have. Before she finished, Mama Ifeoma slapped the table, making the spoons jump. Are you calling me a liar? Go and buy palm oil from Momankem this minute. Mama, it is dark, Amoka whispered. And so what? Will darkness kill you? Move before I beat you. Tears filled Amoka's eyes, but she wiped them quickly. She wrapped her old shawl around herself and stepped outside. The night was cold. The trees rustled softly, as though whispering a warning she could not understand. The path to Momankem's shop was long, and the darkness made it even longer. She walked slowly, listening to her own footsteps on the sandy path. Crickets chirped loudly, and an owl hooted somewhere above. Every sound made her heart jump. She had always been brave, but something felt wrong that night. Something felt heavy in the air. Halfway to the shop, she heard a rustle in the bushes. She stopped. Her breath caught in her throat. She looked left and right, but saw nothing except the tall grasses swaying gently. Then she heard whispers. Low. Fast. Dangerous. Her legs froze. Before she could run, 3 boys leaped out of the darkness like wild dogs. They grabbed her arms, covering her mouth before she could scream. She struggled with all her strength, kicking and twisting, but the boys were too strong. One held her hands, another held her legs, and the third tried to tie a cloth over her mouth. But as they dragged her toward the bush path, something unexpected happened. A sound cut through the air like a knife. Weeoo. Weeoo. A police siren. Lights flashed behind the palm trees. The boys panicked. Police! Police, they come, one shouted. Leave her. Leave him. They tried to run, but it was too late. The officers had already surrounded them. Within moments, the boys were forced to the ground, shouting and kicking as handcuffs clicked shut on their wrists. One officer knelt beside Amoka, helping her stand. She was shaking from head to toe. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she was safe. Don't be afraid, the officer said gently. You are safe now. We heard everything. Amoka could barely speak. She pointed weakly toward her home, her lips trembling. The officers exchanged looks. Who sent these boys? One asked. The boys kept quiet, but fear was eating them from inside. At the station, after hours of questioning, the truth finally spilled out. It was Amoka's stepmother, one confessed with shaking lips. She told us to take her away. She said she would pay us. The entire room went silent. The officers wasted no time. They returned to the village that same night and arrested Mama Ifeoma, who tried to pretend she knew nothing. Me? Kidnap? Huh? It is a lie, she shouted. But the boys repeated the truth again and again. Her fate was sealed. We have come to the end of part 1. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment what you learned from this story. Watch out for part 2.